Hi from Dr. Sam in this city. Today I'm talking about sunscreen considerations for summer. Now, as you know, I'm an advocate of sunscreen 365 days a year, indoors, outdoors, it doesn't matter. Wear your sunscreen and choose one that's so nice that you don't actually think about questioning its need. However, coming into summer, there are some considerations to be taken into in terms of which product you choose. And I often think that particularly for summer, it's worth having what I consider a sunscreen wardrobe, if you will, to dip into depending on what you're doing. Now, recently patients have been reporting things like, I've got the marathon coming up, or one of my patients last week, I'm climbing Everest soon. So in these instances, you need your sunscreen to behave a bit differently to what you require of it on an everyday basis. And I think that what I'm getting at is that the property to look for is water resistance, to make sure that product adheres properly to your skin when you're sweating, when you're perhaps brushing your face more frequently because of activity, or indeed you're just in more challenging conditions than you are when you're going about your everyday of work. So for that reason, I thought I would review 3 preferred sunscreens that are water resistant but are still cosmetically elegant and won't tend to break you out. Now, a recent addition to our portfolio in the practice, and for good cause, is the Elta MD UV Pure SPF 47. I do love the way the US are so specific about their numbers. Now, the reason we added this one was for a number of reasons. Firstly, it's an all-physical sunscreen, which is perfect if you are sensitive, irritable, or have been found to be sunscreen intolerant in the past. And it is usually the chemical filters in sunscreens that are the problem, not the physical ones. So this contains a whopping 10% of zinc oxide and 5.5% titanium dioxide, fragrance-free, oil-free, non-comedogenic, you know, the usual form of Elta MD sunscreens. And whilst it's a little thicker in texture than perhaps the UV Clear, which is my preferred day-to-day SPF, I think you do feel the reassurance of applying a slightly thicker, more adherent product to the skin. And whilst it looks a bit white now, as is the case with these modern sunscreens, when you work them into the skin generously, as you must do, eventually it goes translucent and actually forms quite a nice base for makeup if you were happening to be wearing makeup over the top. So as you can see, that's pretty much gone into my skin. There's very little difference between the two hands, and it feels silky, not greasy, and it doesn't look shiny at all. So great for sensitive skin, water resistant, and a good universal sunscreen for outdoorsy people, you know, if you're on holidays, in water, etc. So love that. Plus it's a bit more generously sized than a lot of the more cosmeceutical type brand products. So this is actually 114 grams. So it encourages generosity and frequent reapplication, which I like. The Epion's Ultra Shield Lotion SPF is, I would say, a slightly lighter textured product. Again, similarly high percentage of zinc oxide, water resistant, and better for those who just like a lotion-like product. It's really quite matte on the skin as well. I'm reapplying it over the top of something else, but I think that's okay. So it feels lighter textured. I think those with oilier skin will probably feel a little more comfortable applying this. Again, no perceptible tint on the skin and absorbs really quickly. This is good for men, actually, who really don't appreciate looking white or having a greasy feel to their skin. There's just no tackiness there at all. And then the final one I'm talking about today, which is also water resistant, is the Jan Marini SPF 30 Physical Protectant. And this is a great one. It's actually SPF 45, by the way. The Americans are more precise in their numbering. In the EU, we either round down to 30 or up to 50. If it's 45, it gets rounded down. So actually better protection than you might initially think. And this one's tinted. So this is great for, I would say, those who want to look a little pulled together. So typically you're visiting a hot city like Rome in the summer and you're out and about. You want to be able to top up your sunscreen, but you don't want to be completely barefaced. So I think this is a great way of looking like you have a little something on your skin, gives you a bit of confidence, a little bit of coverage, but not so much that it's difficult to top up. And I think the key thing about reapplication is something I can't emphasize enough. So a beautiful textured product, a really great primer-like product if you do wear it under makeup, and a good universal tint. Probably best for those with warmer tones to their skin. It's a little warm for my skin tone, but for anyone else with a touch of olive tones in their skin, I think this is a lovely product. And you know, no greyish tinge, which is so common with physical sunscreen products that are tinted. So this is also an all physical sunscreen. So that's Dan Marini Physical Protectant SPF 30. So that's 3 great options that are water resistant, so good for activities, good if you're worried about your sunscreen slipping, particularly if you're pigmentation prone. It's a really common concern with melasma. So I think worth considering to have an extra layer of protection from your sunscreen in summer. I hope that was helpful. Bye for now.